Hi, good morning here from Palm Springs, California. I'm so happy to have our guest here. I am just thrilled that Desert Legends is back for its fourth year. We have Sandy here with Animal Connections. We're going to be talking about the workshops. But first of all, I want to have Sandy talk about why she's so excited that Desert Legends is happening and why she's part of Desert Legends and she's excited to be here. Why are you, Sandy?
Oh, there's so many reasons. So it's a weekend of lesbians, fun things in the desert. Really, it's going to be awesome. Plus, I know Corday. She's going to be fabulous. I know some of the organizers. They're just totally awesome. And so it's going to be so much fun.
Yay. Thank you for being a part of it. Here we go. All right. Cool. Okay. So, Sandy, for those who are new to your work, how do you describe what you do as a multi-dimensional coach and animal communicator?
So one of the main things that I do is I help women who have animals be able to tune into their intuitive self, their like really deepen into their heart. When we go into our hearts, that really allows us to open into more than just our physical realm. We go into emotions and we can get all kinds of information on many different levels. And I work a lot with spiritual guides, with animals who've passed over. And so this is really about opening ourselves into many different dimensions, not just here on the physical plane. And I find that women are very attuned with their animals, and that helps them come into a greater depth with themselves.
So, what first sparked your ability or curiosity to communicate with animals? Was there a defining moment?
Yes, in a sense, I grew up not having animals in my home, actually, but I rode horses, and that gave me a real connection with being nonverbal and being very intuitively attuned. And that gave me an avenue for that in my life. In the 70s, we talked about ESP, and which I was interested in, but animal communication per se was not a field yet, maybe late in the 70s, and it started as an actual field. And then in the 80s, I got a horse off the track, thoroughbred off of the track, and I had been training horses and teaching riding for over a decade at that point, and this horse just, I couldn't reach him. And so I knew there was a great being inside of there underneath all of his being shut down and challenges, behavioral challenges that he showed. And I was introduced to animal communication, and we had a session, and I was absolutely blown out of the water by it. And I was like, I want to be able to do this. And so that started me on that path pretty specifically.
So, do animals really have messages for us? What are some of the most surprising things you've received from them?
I think initially, well, the most surprising thing for me personally was with this first session when my horse told the communicator he wasn't sure if he wanted to be alive or not. Yeah, it was like a total game changer for me. First of all, he was 7 years old at the time, 6 or 7 years old at the time. He was very young, and I didn't understand like why he didn't want to be here. It just like really cracked everything open. And so that showed me like, oh my God, these are like I knew it, like I knew it. There's things that you know, but your conscious mind doesn't always isn't always there. And that was one of those instances. And it literally, I remember having those thoughts like they really are conscious beings. And it's like you just called a communicator to talk with him because he's a conscious being, and yet you're surprised that he's making a choice if he wants to live or not. And so that was, I think, really honestly, in all of my career, which has spanned since the late 80s now, the very most surprising. There's been many other things that have been like I learn all the time about life from their perspective, from dogs, from cats, from horses, from birds, from fish, from wild animals, and also from animals who've passed over. It's because we're not there. How do we know unless somebody who's there now is sharing that experience with us? And it's profound and it's amazing. And the healing that happens for people is really just so deeply touching, so moving, and really helps people shift like what's been going on for them. A lot of people have a lot of guilt about how animals have passed or decisions that they've had to make with euthanasia or the circumstances. And so it really makes a huge difference in reconnecting in places and relieving a lot of what people have been holding, sometimes for decades.
You talk
Yeah.
about releasing pain, maybe and restoring harmony.
Yes.
How can connecting with animals help us heal emotionally?
In so many ways, I would say one of the biggest things is when we're relating with our animals and they're not doing, for instance, what we want, and we're not doing what they want, it mirrors a conflict, right? It shows each other there's something that's out of sync. There's I'm not understanding you, you're not understanding me. If you look at relationships between people, that kind of thing happens all the time. And so when we're connecting with the animals and we're looking specifically to understand their vantage point and their viewpoint and opening and willing to understand, which sometimes we're more willing to understand an animal than we are a person, right? It shows us that pathway that's actually a possibility. And
Yes.
it helps us understand more about things going on in our own selves. And it helps move things. I This horse that I was talking about, the thoroughbred, my life was changed and kept changing, and I had him for 32 years. He lived until he was 37. There was a lot of learning in there.
Yeah, no doubt. So tell us about your workshop at Desert Legends. What can attendees expect when they walk into the room? Because you're guiding participants, I believe,
Yes,
step by step to
yes.
intuitively connect with their animals. How powerful is that experience for someone who's never done it before?
It's so much fun. I love doing this so much. So there's multiple things about it for this particular workshop. So I will lead people in some very specific ways. I'm not going to tell, exactly what we're going to do here, but to really tune in, we're going to do a bunch of different exercises that are people love them. People just love doing them and are always very surprised at how much information you can actually get. And it really, one of the things that I love most about it is it helps people know that you really are a lot more tuned in than you thought. And for those who know that they're tuned in, it's very validating and it's very opening. And it's a great way at Desert Legends to be able to meet other women who also love their animals. So that we love our animals.
Yeah.
So it's really fun to have that point of contact. And you get information sometimes it just is more intimate than a regular kind of surface conversation. And so it really helps you connect and form really nice connections with women.
Yeah. So what does someone have to prepare for? Do they bring a photo, a personal item from their pet?
Yeah,
What?
two things, super
Okay.
simple. Bring a picture on your phone of your animal, and it can be either an animal who's alive or who's passed over. And so that's easy. Pretty much we all have pictures of our animals, and it can be a dog, cat, horse. It doesn't matter what species, even if you've got a bird or a gerbil or a hamster or a snake or a fish, whatever you've got, It's all good. And then just a piece of paper and something to write with. Really, oh, sorry. And a physical object, maybe something that you're wearing, like a necklace, a bracelet, could be a watch, pair of earrings, something simple. It could be like a hat, something that has your energy in it, that you have on you more than just like on a rare occasion.
I love that. I love that. We're spreading the word. If you've ever wondered what your pet is really thinking, this is your chance to find out and maybe even discover something deeper about yourself on Friday, April 3rd from 1 to 2:30 at Hotel Zoso here in Palm Springs, California to meet Sandy and hear more about Animal Connections. Anything, any last words, Sandy, that you want to talk about to these ladies right now?
Just come join us. If you have an animal and you're even the least bit curious, just come. You don't have to know anything. You just need to have love for your animal and have a willingness to join us. And we'd love to have you. Come on
Yes.
over.
And so if they're watching right now, listening and watching and want to find out more that then they're not at happen to be can't make it to Desert Legends, how can they find out more about you?
Yeah, thank you.
Social
Go to my
media or website or what?
both. You can go to my website, www.oneheartuniversity.com, and you can go on social media to Sandy Rakowitz, SandyRakowitz.
Lovely. It's a pleasure to meet you virtually. Look forward to meeting you out here in Palm Springs. We're the Hollywood Times dot today. The Hollywood Times Official is our YouTube channel. And have a great rest of your day. Safe travels out here, and we will see you real soon.
Thanks so much, Valerie.
DesertLegends.net. Get your tickets right away.
See you there.
All right. Bye, Sandy. Bye bye.